Did you know that when William Shakespeare, the greatest writer of all time, was composing his most timeless plays and poems, he was passing through the most intense sexual, romantic, and emotional period of his life? But unlike ordinary people, he did not waste this intense, youthful physical energy or emotion merely in pursuit of cheap physical pleasure. He completely diverted that immense mental stimulation and poured it into the tip of his pen, giving birth to one historic masterpiece after another. Through his 25 years of research, Napoleon Hill discovered that this intense, natural sexual energy is incredibly potent within every genius and successful person. However, they know how to avoid wasting this energy and instead use it as fuel to achieve business, career, or grand goals. Today, we will deeply explore this secret science. Chapter 8: Decision. The primary reason for the failure of thousands is procrastination, or the habit of putting off work, which actually originates from indecisiveness. All successful and wealthy people in the world make decisions very quickly on any matter and do not easily change those decisions unless necessary. On the other hand, unsuccessful people take a great deal of time to make a decision but change that decision very quickly and frequently. Remaining steadfast in one's decisions is one of the core foundations of success. The author talks about 3 main rules for making correct and firm decisions. 1. Remaining steadfast in your decision. You must make decisions by relying on your own intellect and goals, without paying heed to the opinions, criticism, or pointless talk of the people around you. 2. Maintaining confidentiality. There is no need to beat a drum and announce your ultimate plan or decision to everyone. Let your decisions manifest through your actions, not your words. 3. Consulting the mastermind team. If you must take advice from someone when making a decision, take it only from the members of your trusted mastermind team and no one else. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill highlights an unforgettable and courageous real-life event of decision-making from the history of American independence. In July 1776, 56 men gathered in a room in Philadelphia to make a historic and highly risky decision. They were going to sign a document called the Declaration of Independence of America. In that era, making such a decision against the British Empire meant certain death or hanging. But men like John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson, and Richard Henry Lee present in that room felt no hesitation or fear that day. They made the final decision in favor of independence very quickly and with immense firmness, and signed the document. The author states that if those 56 men had not made that unwavering decision that day, ignoring the fear of hanging. Chapter 9: Persistence or Stubborn Resolve. No matter how intense your desire or how perfect your plan is, no one can succeed in any endeavor without persistence or a stubborn resolve. Most people abandon their goals at the very first shock of failure, but a select few hold on to their stubbornness and stick around despite hundreds of obstacles. This mindset of staying power is the real fuel that transforms the belief inside you into reality. The author speaks of 4 specific steps for building ironclad persistence within the mind. Clear purpose and intense longing. Your goal must be absolutely specific, and there must be a burning desire in your mind to achieve it. Organized planning. It is essential to have a clear and written action plan for daily tasks. keeping the mind free from negative thoughts, completely ignoring the discouragement, criticism, or negative remarks of the people around you. A trusted alliance, maintaining a good relationship with one or more people who will encourage you to move forward even during difficult times. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill gives an unforgettable example of stubbornness and persistence from the life of the world-renowned scientist and inventor Thomas Alva Edison. When Edison was working to invent the electric bulb, he failed nearly 10,000 times over several consecutive years, not just for a day or two or 1 or 2 years. An ordinary person might have given up after trying 10 or 20 times, or at most 100 times, saying it is impossible to make a bulb. But in Edison's dictionary, there was no such word as giving up. When the people around him were telling him to stop this madness, Edison calmly said, "I haven't failed, rather I have discovered 10,000 ways that do not work to create a bulb. That means every single time I have arrived one step closer to success." By the power of this stubborn resolve and incredible persistence, he split open the heart of darkness one day and illuminated the entire world with light. The author demonstrates that this stubborn resolve to stay on the battlefield at any cost is greater than. Chapter 10: The Power of the Mastermind. The thing that is needed most to achieve any grand goal or to accumulate wealth is power, and it is impossible to acquire this power all alone. When two or more minds work together with complete mental unity and harmony to achieve a specific goal, an invisible, third, ultra-powerful mind is born there, which the author calls the mastermind. Teaming up with the right people is the true way to multiply power. The author speaks of 3 main conditions for forming an effective and powerful mastermind team. Mental unity. No kind of jealousy, ego, or disagreement can exist among the team members. Everyone's purpose and mindset must be one. Complementary capability. You must include people in your team whose skills and knowledge will directly help fulfill your goal, things that are not possible by your own efforts. Transformation of power. The knowledge and experience of everyone on the team must be transformed into a specific action plan through regular discussions. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill highlights the world-renowned car manufacturer Henry Ford and a magical real-life philosophy of transformation from his life. When Ford started his career, he was extremely poor, uneducated, and erratic by nature. But a massive change came into his life when he formed a deep friendship and a mastermind alliance with 3 other famous men of America. Those 3 individuals were the world-famous scientist Thomas Edison, the famous businessman Harvey Firestone, and the naturalist John Burroughs. When these 4 successful minds regularly sat together, hung out, and shared their ideas, the mental power inside each of them multiplied many-fold. Hill wrote that it was primarily by coming into contact with powerful minds like Edison, Firestone, and Burroughs that Henry Ford conquered his inner poverty and ignorance, transforming into one of the most successful and powerful billionaires of America. The author. Chapter 11: Sex Transmutation. Sexual desire is one of the most powerful and intense cravings of the human mind. Instead of wasting this immense natural power or emotion merely on physical pleasure, it should be psychologically channeled towards creativity, business, or achieving a grand goal. When this power is diverted in the right direction, even an ordinary person can transform into a genius. The author talks about 3 main ways to channel this energy. Diversion of power.
Whenever intense physical stimulation or mental restlessness arises, immediately leave the bed or phone and sit down to do your hardest and most important task. Usage of inspiration. Transform the love received from your life's dearest person, mother, wife, or partner, into a sense of responsibility and focus on your career. 45-minute focus rule. Stay away from all social media and entertainment for at least 45 minutes every day to polish your creative skills. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill highlights a profound psychological truth from the life of William Shakespeare, one of the greatest writers and playwrights in world history. Hill observed in his extensive research that all the great successful people in history possessed this intense natural energy in abundance. When Shakespeare was writing his greatest timeless plays and poems, he was passing through the most intense emotional and romantic period of his life. Under the influence of this intense emotion, he did not waste time in laziness or indulge merely in physical pleasure. He directly diverted that overwhelming mental stimulation of love and poured it into the tip of his pen, which resulted in the birth of one timeless masterpiece after another. Shakespeare proved that when intense mental stimulation is transformed into hard work and creative tasks, it turns an ordinary person into an extraordinary one. Today, whenever you feel mental restlessness, instead of scrolling through Facebook, sit at your main work table and work with deep focus for at least 30 minutes. Which resulted in the birth of one timeless masterpiece after another. Shakespeare proved that when intense mental stimulation is transformed into hard work and creative tasks, it turns an ordinary person into an extraordinary one. Today, whenever you feel mental restlessness, instead of scrolling through Facebook, sit at your main work table and work with deep focus for at least 30 minutes.
Chapter 12. The Subconscious Mind. Our subconscious mind is a massive powerhouse that works 24 hours a day like a set of filters. It connects your inner intense desire, fear, or belief with the infinite intelligence of the universe. If you do not consciously program it with good thoughts, it will program itself with the surrounding negativity and become the cause of your failure. Night and morning routine. Every day, exactly 10 minutes before going to sleep at night and the first 10 minutes after waking up in the morning, repeat your core goal in your mind because the subconscious mind is most active during these times. Blocking negative emotions. Whenever resentment, jealousy, or fear arises in the mind, immediately force yourself to recall a happy or successful memory to calm the subconscious mind. Visualization practice. Feel the emotion vividly inside your mind, as if you have already received the thing you want. Do not merely utter hollow words. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill highlights an incredible real-life event of utilizing the subconscious mind by the world-renowned inventor Nikola Tesla. Whenever Tesla conceived an idea for a new complex machine or an AC motor, he would not immediately go to the laboratory and sit down with iron and scrap. He knew this formula of the author's subconscious mind. He would first release the entire design into his subconscious mind. Tesla would close his eyes and create a perfect 3D model of the whole machine inside his mind, telling his subconscious mind to find its flaws. He would turn on the machine inside his mind and leave it running for a few weeks to see if any internal parts were wearing out. By the magical power of this subconscious mind, Tesla brought
Chapter 13. The brain. The human brain is not a mere lump of flesh. It is essentially an ultra-powerful broadcasting and receiving station of thought. Just like a radio, our brain constantly receives thought waves or frequencies emitted from the universe and from the minds of people around us, while broadcasting its own thoughts outward. If you can tune or set your brain to the correct frequency, you will be able to catch the wonderful ideas of others and the knowledge of the universe inside your own head. The author talks about 3 main rules to effectively operate this mental station. Frequency matching rule. To find the solution to any complex problem, completely calm your mind and generate an intense emotion or longing within, because intense emotion multiplies the speed and waves of the brain's thoughts, helping it receive the right ideas. Environment filtering. Completely distance yourself from the gatherings of negative, frustrated, and lazy people every day, so that your brain does not receive the thought waves of their failure. Idea-catching diary. The moment a unique idea or a sudden flash hits your head, write it down in a diary immediately, because these waves received by the brain vanish into thin air very quickly. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill highlights a unique real-life event of utilizing this receiving power of the brain by the world-renowned scientist and successful inventor Thomas Alva Edison. Whenever Edison got stuck on a new complex scientific project or could not find a logical solution, he would stop forcing his brain to work. He knew the formula of using his brain as a receiving station. He would go and lie down quietly on a cot kept in a corner of his lab, making his mind completely calm and relaxed. He would consciously leave the doors of his brain open so that the correct idea from the infinite intelligence of the universe could reach his head. Incredibly, amidst this deep relaxation, his brain would suddenly catch the thought wave of the correct frequency, and the idea for the perfect solution would flash into his head like lightning. Edison proved that if you can calm your brain and set it to the correct frequency.
Chapter 14. The Sixth Sense. The sixth sense is the most mysterious part of the pinnacle of success, which is essentially that part of our subconscious mind where a person suddenly receives a brilliant idea, a signal of future danger, or an insight without any logic. When the previous 12 principles are fully imprinted into your brain, this sixth sense activates on its own. It works as a miraculous driving force to help you make the right decision at the right time and receive unseen help. The author talks about 3 main practices to awaken this inner voice. Mental counseling practice. Every day before going to sleep at night, close your eyes and create a mental, imaginary meeting within your mind where the world's greatest successful individuals, such as Einstein, Edison, or Carnegie, are sitting before you and seek advice from them for any problem. Habit of listening to the inner call. Whenever you suddenly receive a positive feeling from the depths of your mind regarding any matter, learn to rely on it instead of dismissing it with the twists and turns of logic. Practicing meditation or silence. Distance yourself completely from external noise for at least 15 minutes every day and sit in absolute silence so that you can hear clearly the subtle voice of your inner thoughts. Napoleon Hill highlights an incredible event from his own life. While writing this book, the author, Napoleon Hill, would often close his eyes at night and create an imaginary council or advisory board inside his mind. There, he would visualize deceased legends like Abraham Lincoln, Napoleon Bonaparte, and Andrew Carnegie. In deep meditation, Hill would talk to these imaginary characters and ask how Lincoln had led the people of his country during his extreme crises. Astonishingly, as a result of this practice, such extraordinary philosophies and writing ideas began to flow out from Hill's subconscious mind that were impossible to conceive in an Chapter 15. The 6 Ghosts of Fear. The previous 14 extraordinary rules of this book will work in your life only when you can banish the fears hidden inside your mind forever. Primarily, 6 major fears reside in the human mind, which covertly destroy all of a person's capability, self-confidence, and desire to accumulate wealth. These fears are actually nothing more than negative states of mind within the brain, which a person can completely erase consciously if they wish. Identifying and banishing the ghosts of fear. Question your own mind to identify any one of the following 6 fears and make a decision to delete it from your mind today itself. The fear of poverty. Forget the fear of scarcity and get to work today on finding new avenues of income. The fear of criticism. Completely stop thinking, "What will people think?" and do your own work. The fear of ill health. Stop making imaginary thoughts about sickness and maintain a healthy lifestyle. The fear of loss of love. Become self-reliant instead of being overly dependent on anyone. The fear of old age. Think of age as a mere number and learn something new at every moment. The fear of death. Enjoy the present time instead of fearing what is inevitable. Building a mental wall. Whenever someone comes and tells you this won't happen through you or feeds you any negative words, immediately raise an invisible wall in your mind so that those toxic words cannot reach your subconscious mind. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill highlights a magical truth from the life of the world-renowned steel businessman and billionaire Andrew Carnegie. When Carnegie first came to America from Scotland empty-handed, in a state of extreme poverty, each of these 6 fears stood before him like a monster. Especially the fear of poverty and the fear of criticism eat away at ordinary people from the inside. But Carnegie made an unwavering decision to completely free his mind from the clutches of these ghosts of fear. He shook off all fears from his mind and locked his brain solely with the positive thoughts of accumulating wealth and doing good for people. He snapped his fingers at all the criticism of the people around him. The main message of each chapter of Think and Grow Rich at a Glance. 15 strategies to grow rich with your thoughts. Desire. Create a burning and intense longing behind your specific goal. Faith. Imprint the mental belief deep into your subconscious mind that your goal will inevitably be fulfilled. Auto-suggestion. Every day in the morning and at night, read your goals and success aloud so your own ears can hear them. Specialized knowledge. Acquire practical knowledge or skills in the specific subject necessary to fulfill your goal. Imagination. Create a clear outline within your mind to transform your ideas into reality. Organized planning. Instead of sitting idle, create a written and specific action plan today to achieve your goal. Decision. Form a habit of making very quick and firm decisions on any matter. Persistence. Remain steadfast in your goal with stubborn resolve, even if you fail the first time or repeatedly. The power of the mastermind.
create a powerful alliance with 2 or 3 positive individuals who will help you achieve your goal. Sex transmutation. Directly divert intense natural stimulation or mental restlessness into the difficult and creative tasks of your career. The subconscious mind. Before going to sleep and after waking up, program your mind solely with thoughts of positivity and success. The brain. Keep your brain calm and tuned to the correct frequency by filtering out all surrounding negative environment and the words of negative people. The sixth sense. Form a habit of listening to your inner insight or gut feeling by sitting in noise-free silence for at least 15 minutes every day. The 6 ghosts of fear. Make a decision today to erase all imaginary fears such as poverty, criticism, or failure from your mind forever. Self-analysis. Regularly examine the strengths and weaknesses of your own mind to permanently close the entryways of negative thoughts. Inshallah, you will find the link to the first part in the very first comment of the comment box of this video. Every single top wealthy person and celebrity in the world practices gaining knowledge for at least 1 hour every day, which is why they belong to the 1% of people today. Don't forget to let us know how you liked the video in the comments below. See you soon in the unfolding of a new mystery.